All right, welcome to the Deprogram show. I'm your host, RMJR. I got my boy way from 2/5 all the way back, man. We go way back. Graduated same year, Howard High School. Y'all know him as Just Sleep. I know
Yes,
him as
sir.
Christopher Knox. What's going on, my brother?
Yes, sir. Ski. What's going on, man? I'm good. I'm good.
Man, I can't complain, man. I guess first we're gonna start off. How did you get the name Just Sleep? For those who don't know, I don't even think I know this.
It started with Sleepy first. That's just a name I picked up at On Park.
I
I
remember
think
that.
yeah, it go all the way back to I think Miss McGarry one day told me he thought I was falling asleep. And then that's kind of how it came about with the Sleepy. So I started rapping. I think it started with Young Sleep. And then MySpace era hit, you know what I'm saying? So I started getting older. I felt like I started rapping about a little bit, different subjects. I was like, I don't want the young in my name. Everything was young and little at the time. So I put no more young, just sleep on my MySpace page. I was trying to tell people to just call me sleep, just sleep
Yeah.
by itself. But people took the just sleep and put it together. And then I think Yellow was the person that kind of like started it first. It's my boy Just. And from there, it just took off with just sleep. So I think it had a little ring to it. So I just kept, as I rapped, I kept going with just sleep. And it just became like just sleep stuck.
Okay.
So,
All right. Let me ask you this: how did you get started rapping? Cause I remember. I'm gonna tell you this. I remember when I was rapping in Howard, and you like, man, I can rap. I was like, yeah, I hear you. But when I heard you rap, I was like, oh, he really can really rap. He wasn't playing.
yeah, man, I think that started. I always knew how to rap. I just didn't tell nobody. And then SK Kelvin, you know what I'm saying, was SK at the time.
Yeah.
He was in a club rapping. He was battling somebody, you know what I'm saying? So I just jumped in and started just, boom, on SK side. And then from there, that's kind of how everybody figured it out. And then from there, it was a little dude. I don't even know who this dude real name is, but his name was Lil Hennessy at the time. And he was going to Block Studio. And he one day he came and knocked on my door, was like, hey man, you wanna go to the studio? I said, yeah, I go to the studio, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I ain't know nothing about writing. I didn't know nothing about, I just knew how to freestyle. That was it. I didn't know how to write 16 bars or none of that. So we get there at the Block Studio, and I think I freestyled about 10 verses that day because they kept telling me to stack the verse. And I'm like, I can't stack it because I just did it out the top of my head. And they was like, you lying. I said, yeah, I said, do it again. And I think I was like, I can't stack it. You're gonna have to do whatever you got to do. But I didn't know about stacking ad libs, none of that at the time. But that
Block
started
could
me
have
rapping.
Block could have auto stacked it. Shout out to Block. That's why I
You
stuck
know what
with
I'm saying? But that's where it started from Lil Hennessy, which I still, like I said, I don't even know dude's name. He was the first person to get me in the studio, and then Kelvin, Willie, everybody started pushing it, and I started doing a couple songs, and it just from there, people was like, okay, I mess with it, so it just kind of started from there.
Okay. I remember the first song that you dropped officially, and it took off. I want to say, you correct me if I'm wrong, was it War, basically?
Yeah, it was War. That was the song that got on the radio.
Yeah, exactly.
Somebody ended up plugging me with Nori. I was in Iraq actually the first time I talked to Nori. I was in Iraq. I wrote the song there. When I got back, I recorded it, and everybody was like, "Put it on the little pump of the dump it the little
Street
street."
flavor.
Yeah. So then people started voting it, and I think it stuck around for a while. It ran for a couple of weeks. So that was the first official song that I didn't steal somebody's beat, anything like that, or because I was rapping over people's beat at the time, because that's what Wayne did. Wayne from our generation, where
Yeah.
squad ups and all that. So that's what I was doing at first. But then I was like, I'm gonna actually write a song, and that was the first song that I actually penned that I can say was my song.
So you mentioned Iraq. So you in the military, correct?
Yeah, 17 years active duty, man. 17. I got about 2.5, and then I get to hang them boots up.
So you finna put it up in put
Yeah,
your
put it up,
jersey up in
man.
the rafter.
That is. I'll be about 30, 38, 39, man. I get 2 checks for the rest of my life, man.
So what made you want to go into the military?
Well, growing up, well, we grew up, how we grew up, I just always felt like, man, this ain't it. Then I ended up having my son in 2002, and
Okay.
sitting around for about a year working. I kind of just looked at what was going on around me, and I'm like, man, I got to have something more to offer to him when he get older. I was watching a lot of guys that I kind of looked up to or had respect for, kind of like I don't want to say stuck, but they were kind of just in this pattern where they were working, making sure their kid was good. And then the stuff that they wanted to do, they couldn't really do. So I wanted to get in a position where I got ahead of it, get some kind of foundation, medical benefits, get a check right now, all that stuff they sell you in the recruiting station. I had already said that's what I needed. So I went up there, talked to them. It was official. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So with the basic training, I just stuck with it. I thought I was only gonna do 4, but I was like, man, it's getting kind of easy. Got promoted, then got promoted again, then again. And I was like, you know what, I can do this for 20 years. So that's what, just to get out of the environment we was in, that's in the short answer.
Okay. So let me ask you this, because they came at me with the and I was like, man, y'all tripping. I'm straight. So did they keep their word? Because I hear most people be like, did they keep their word from when they first recruited you?
Looking back at it, yeah. How they sold it to you, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a little different. You know what I'm saying? They made it sound like a Lamborghini. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, it was a Dodge Charger, but it got the job done. So some of the stuff that they tell you, you get free college. You know what I'm saying? But they don't tell you that. You got to find out when to do that on your own. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's ways to go re-enlist and do a college, 6 months of college where you don't, you kind of, the military lifestyle is regulated to around college. You can do that, but that's not how it is when you first get in. You first get in, it's basic. First duty station, I deployed immediately when I got to my first duty station. So it's like when you got time for college, but you do get free college, 100% free tuition the whole time you in. Medical benefits right up front. You know what I'm saying? All that stuff was there. So it was the truth, but they kind of packaged it up to make it sound way better than what it was. You know what I'm saying? So their job is to recruit, so they got to sell a business. So that's what they did.
Okay. So I seen, because you know what I'm saying, I studied people on my interview, I studied. So I seen you done been basically all over, from overseas, all over the US. So rap wise, what have you noticed rap wise in different areas of the country than, say where we from, Chattanooga?
Everybody got their own niche. Chattanooga, I can honestly say, and then, I mean, I don't mean this in a negative way, but we don't have our own niche just in Chattanooga. Tennessee has their own niche, you know what I'm saying? But our city don't. So like, for instance, Texas, I was in Texas for a while. You go to Houston, you go to Dallas, San Antonio, it's like going to 3 different places. You can see the difference in the places. You can hear the difference in the music. Other places you can just see that, but we still have our own thing. You can still, other people can come to Tennessee and say, okay, this is a Tennessee thing, I can hear it. But to identify somebody from Chattanooga versus like, oh man, this dude must be from Houston, or he must be from Dallas or San Diego, you know what I'm saying? I can hear that Bay Area in his rap. We don't really got that thing, but everywhere else it's pretty much the same, man. It's a bunch of people hungry trying to get on. Nothing really changed with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's always that starving artist. It's always that dude that got his break. And there's always those people who got the talent, but it's not enough people working behind the scenes to help them get where they got to go. It's like that in every city. So every artist stuck in that situation is just like, how you going to market yourself to be different in order for you to take off. That's my opinion with it. But other than that, man, I done been to all over Georgia, Texas. I done been in Korea. I mean, everywhere you see people rapping, you see people trying to get on, it's almost the same thing. A lot of people's city don't back them up. All that stuff that people complain about is still the same in every city. You don't got that local push behind you. It's hard to get on. You got to find that almost like a miracle, right place, right time type of thing. So
why you think us, and when I say us, the city of Chattanooga, why you think we don't have our own niche?
I just think where we are, like, we right on that line of Georgia. Everybody know that Atlanta is a big part of like where people go from Chattanooga. You know what I'm saying? When you were younger, that was the thing. That's where you went to shop and get clothes. That's where you went and got all the shoes. You almost felt like, man, coming up was like going to Atlanta. Man, I'm gonna just move to Atlanta. People like, you about to move to the A. Like, that's kind of how it was. So that's kind of what we focused our music to. But still, we still grew up listening to UGK. You know, we grew up listening to so many different artists. We didn't have anything to kind of focus our sound on. You know what I'm saying? And then when we did start having it, you had Mr. Click, you had Big Vinny. You know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't that many rappers at the same time like it is now. Now when I go home, it's so many rappers I don't know about. Like, people always telling me, listen to Lil Buddy right here. You know what I'm saying? But back then, you only had so many people that was trying to get on, and everybody was trying to kind of get an identity of what they were supposed to sound like and blah, blah, blah. So we never really developed that. And then now, I think all music kind of sound alike. So we do got a sound, but it sound like
everybody else
right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I feel like we don't really got that, because people travel to Nashville. People had, you know, Atlanta, Memphis, the Carolinas. You had all these places around us that influenced what we listened to. It was hard to kind of say, okay, this our lane and this how we gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? Because you don't really, it wasn't a real big rap scene in Chattanooga for a while. Once everybody kind of stopped doing it, you know what I'm saying? So, but shout out to people who were vending them, all of them who influenced local rappers like me, you know what I'm saying? But it was just hard to say, okay, this is what I'm gonna sound like. Because I think I started out, most people, you say I sound like I was from New York, right? That's what I used to get all the time. Like, you sound like you from up north. But I listened to that music a lot, you know what I'm saying? Because I had relatives from New York. So I kind of dove into that real deep. And then battle rapping was like my favorite thing to do. So I always watched battle rappers, and it wasn't Southern battle. It's still not a lot of Southern battle rappers. It's starting to come up real big now, but it wasn't at the time. So you kind of had to take on those characteristics of what you was watching or hearing every day. So, but that's why I feel like chat just kind of stuck in this what we supposed to do type of thing. And the music scene just got to get better in chat, because there's a lot of talent, crazy talent in Chattanooga. So
I'm gonna ask you this based on that. Name your top 5 artists in the city. It ain't even got to be in no specific order. Nah,
man. So I gotta go with Isaiah, man. I mean, for one, he you know what I'm saying? He did what I think every rapper in Chattanooga was trying to do. So you got to give him that credit. Clown, that young boy, that crazy with it. It sound biased because that's the homie, but Yella, you know what I'm saying? Dude got Yella got a lot of talent. R&B, rap. He got the image, you know what I'm saying? The dude got that market. If you was the market of artist, you know what I'm saying? I say Yella.
For those who don't know, tell them where they can go, his rap name.
So, you know, what CT call himself now, rap wise?
Man, that man done been called everything.
That's the homie. That's Yella. Y'all don't know Yella, you know what I'm saying? But CT, you know, cut hair CT. That's the CT.
Okay, they'll know.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Him. And then I'm gonna be super biased and go with my homeboy Clark Kent on the R&B side of the house, because I know we always talk about rap artists, but it's a lot of different.
Yeah, it's your top 5.
Yeah, that's my top 5. I gotta go with Clark, because if you need somebody to pin you a song or sing a song, I gotta go with the homie. I want to count Russ, but you know, Russ stopped doing music. The homeboy Genesis, if y'all know who Genesis is, you know what I'm saying? Genesis is a beast, but he got a VA, so I don't know. I don't want to put him in there. I think I'm wasting a slot. What I'm on 4? That's 4.
Yeah, that's 4.
And then me, you know what I'm saying? I'm
joking.
You
can't put yourself.
Nah, let me see who I get a last slot to, man. God, so many people. I think that young boy named Kevin. I think his real name Kevin. I don't know his rap.
You ain't talking about Clown Brother, is you?
Yeah.
K Montana.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Life Towner, yeah.
Yeah. That's my 5, man. If I had to, you know, I know it's so many though. I try to follow everybody as soon as I see who they is, download something, listen to them. But the music scene grew big in Chattanooga. I felt like I came back and it was like 500 rappers in chat. But it felt like when I was doing it, it was like 12 people. You know what I'm saying? That was really like you're hearing about them. But now it's like everybody can rap in chat. It's a lot of young cats that I try to get up on. You know, I got people saying, no, listen to this little dude right here. A lot of young cats rapping now, but you know what I'm saying? That exposure kind of hard in Chattanooga.
You heard of Slack Zai?
Slack Zai? Nah, I haven't heard of him.
Hey, what's crazy? He out of here.
For real?
He signed a 100K management.
Okay. I'm gonna have to peep him up then.
So I'm talking about he gone. Like when you listen to him, he young, so he got that sound. but
Yeah,
he out of here.
but he good. He cold with it though.
Yeah, he repping Chet. The name of his last project is East Lake Projects.
Okay. From
So
out east.
he so he ain't saying he ain't just he ain't I don't even think he went nowhere to get on either.
What's his name again?
Slat Zy ZY Slat Zy.
Okay.
And when you gonna be like he pipe because he gone, like he got the followers and everything. He done been interviewed by DJ Smalls. I think
Okay.
Say Cheese TV done interviewed him. Quite a few people.
So what made him pop? Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know
What's crazy, I listened to his interview. The young dude said this about a couple months ago. He said he hadn't been rapping nothing but 13 months.
so he put a whole year in the grind in and took off.
And he said what he did, he focused on one song.
Yeah, and see, so
And
that's something that a lot of people don't know. You when a song take off, a lot of times when we hear it, the audience or the consumer, that song could be 2 years old. You know what I'm saying? But it was pushed like that. So finally, when it took off, it was new to everybody else. But to that artist, it could have been a year, 2 years old, man. That's the crazy part about it. But most artists record a song, put it out, and then go to the next song. So you don't put no legs behind that song to get it in the right hands. You know what I'm saying? So that was something I think we wasn't taught. To me, I wasn't. It was never my dream of like I'm gonna be the biggest rapper. I was just like I love doing music. That's the only thing that made me do it. I just like doing it. You know what I'm saying? Like that was my passion, just to be like, I'm gonna go in here and record. I hear a song and I'm like, I wonder, you know, so-and-so rap like this on it. I'm gonna do it like this. That was my whole it was just a creativity thing. It was never like, man, I'm about to blow. I'm about to be the, you know, Jay-Z. It wasn't never like that. It was just like, I heard Eminem and I'd be like, study how he rap. And then I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna try to rap over it. Not use his exact pattern, but to see what I can do to the beat. That was really like my whole reason for rapping right there. It was just watching Mr. Click do it in school. And I'm like, man, I can rap, but it was like, that's silly. That's sleep, man. That's sleepy, man.
he's just the cool dude.
Yeah, that's the cool dude, man. Like, yeah, okay, you can rap, whatever. But then it was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna just get in the studio and do it. That's kind of how I started doing it, and that's the reason I did it. It's good to see cats taking off.
You know what's crazy? I think a lot of dudes who rap, you probably one of their favorite rappers. The dudes who rap in this city, because when I had my conversations with Coop, when I talked to Trey, it's like other guys. We always put your name in the mix.
Yeah, it'd be good to still like get, you know, come up in a conversation. Like I said, I still like to do it, man. Coop reached out to me for his last two projects. One I didn't get on, but this last one I was able to get on that one. So I mean, I still like to do it. I still write. I still free. I'm just not running to the booth trying to put something down. You know what I'm saying? But I still love doing it. So it's good to still be brought up, you know what I'm saying, in conversation.
So will we ever get another project, man? Come on, man.
Man, you know what?
I can't interview you and I ask you that, man. I can't do that. I'd be doing a disservice.
I say this: if I can work with Coop and Mike Murder, yeah.
Coop ready, and I know Mike ready. That's your homeboy,
yeah,
same neighborhood. So.
yeah. If I can work with Coop and Mike Murder, I give you 7 tracks, easy. You know what I'm saying? If I can put visuals behind it too, now, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to just put something out and then now I'm at the point where I want to put some visuals behind it to make what I'm talking about a little stronger, because that creative side, like I feel like when you put out a song that people like, you give them a visual, it kind of make people see like where you was coming from when you wrote the song. So if I can get Coop and Mike Murder, I'll do it. I'll do whatever. I'm always down to do a feature. Always down for that too. So yeah, I'll definitely get.
So basically you ain't went, because I know them two dudes. You got access to them like just holding out your hand. So it's on you, babe. Now I got you on the Deprogram show saying if you could get Coop and Mike Murder, you'll put out 7 tracks. I know you got both of them.
Yeah.
So we waiting on you. I'm gonna put you on the spot. We waiting on you.
I'll reach out. I'll see what I can do. I got the time. I mean, hey, right now, people, that's all we got is time.
So what you think about the being in the military? How do you view politics, because as a civilian, we might view it a certain way, but actually being really fully effective being in the military, how do you view the politics, the current situation, as well as the past?
I mean, it's the same. As a soldier, when you join, it's not like you I use your title, deprogrammed, and then reprogrammed it to something that is like you 100% follow and agree with everything that's being said. Before I joined the military, I felt like politics was politics. It's a dirty game that America plays, and it's no good side or bad side. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole Democratic Republic or what, like that's just another tool to control the economy. You know what I'm saying? If I make you take a side, I can now control whatever side you're on, regardless if you're against me or with me. I still have some control over that side. So I always looked at politics the same. Being in the military, I look at what happens, like, so stuff being blown up, like say for instance the situation in Nashville where the vehicle bombing went off.
Yeah.
Being in the military, you look at that kind of different. You start to think about like what provoked that to happen. Are we about to go back to war? You know what I'm saying? Because that stuff, it affects me directly. So you kind of got to look at the politics and see what's going on, watch the news and kind of follow so you can be prepared for what's to come, because people don't understand how much media plays a role in how we think, the programming of how you're supposed to react to stuff emotionally and how you're supposed to feel. So when I'm looking at and listening to politics, I'm looking for those cue that cue that's gonna tell me, all right, let me get ready to go back to war, or you know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing I'm looking at. All the rest of it, man, I just feel like the country got to realize like the politics ain't for none of us. It's not. It's a tool. It's a tool to control America, and it make you feel like if I choose this side, I'm this. If I choose this side, I'm that. But if it's one country, it should be one voice. And if it's not, then you're being manipulated to believe it's a hand-eye trick. You know what I'm saying? While my hand's moving, I need your eyes to be paying attention to something else. That's how I look at politics.
And see,
it hasn't changed since I joined, though.
That's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, because I've been knowing you a long time. I know you're a deep thinker. And it's like I tell people, even my former co-host, shout out to Willie Richardson Jr., we used to talk about it. I was like, man, left wing, right wing, it's the same bird.
Yep.
My thing is this. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I seen coming up in the projects, then only time we see the Democrats is when it's time to run for office. We don't never see the Republicans. So that just showed me long time ago, don't neither one of y'all really care.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, so we talk about race in the country a lot because that's a big part of it. Race is a big part of the United States because it falls into the history. But I always say the hand-eye trick, right? If I got you looking this way, you're not paying attention to what I'm doing this way. If you look at low class, middle class, high class, you also break everybody up again. All right. And it's just another form of control. So if I have the lower class people, I can control them this way. The middle class people need to be controlled this way so that the other people can have whatever they need. You know what I'm saying? So America was built on somebody being at the bottom. That it wasn't built with everybody coming in being equal. Land of the free, home of the brave. That's an illusion. Like America was built off somebody sweating, being beat, whipped, and that's been the whole foundation of this country the whole time. So somebody has to be at the bottom, right? And then the person at the top needs somebody to work for them. So it has to be somebody in the middle, and then that's how the rich stay rich. So you got black, white, and then whatever else you want to put in there, and then you also got rich, poor, and middle class. It's just another form of control. That's how I look at the United States. You know what I'm saying? So I think we argue about race so much that we forget, like, it could be two people from the same tax bracket, same neighborhood, arguing about who black or white. And then there's somebody behind the corner laughing like, listen to these idiots. They're arguing over color when they both go to the same job at the end of the day and work and get the same check. You know what I'm saying? So that's the coldest move in the world, to get two people to not even realize that they on the same treadmill. You know what I'm saying? While at the same time that treadmill is powering the house next door. That's the coldest move in the game right there. So that's what this government was able to pull off for so many years.
And they still able to put. All right, let me ask you this: the corona. What's your thoughts on the coronavirus? I mean, I got my own thing. I done put out videos on it. That's me.
I tested positive for corona in December. December the 8th, I took the test on the 7th. I test positive on the 8th. So I feel like the virus is real. So I watched videos and heard people say that it's not even a real virus, or the government created this virus and all this stuff. I don't believe that to be true. I think it was statistically, history told us that something was coming. I think the government tried to plan for it, but they didn't know that it was going to be this. But I was in Korea when it initially happened, so I saw it like swoop through Korea. If you know anything about Korean culture, their elderly people are normally the most vulnerable because they're very old, very sick. Koreans work their butt off their whole life, so when they get old, it's like that's it. When they stop working, Koreans, they're old. They're at that point where they can't work. So I'm watching it kill off these people and how Koreans reacted to it. They cooperated with everything that was put out because they knew at the end of the day, if we don't, we're going to lose the history, the people who maintain the most history and the most wisdom in our family. So they cooperated with it, and they were able to control it with no vaccine. So
in Korea,
they used the app, a phone app that let people know where you were. America's worst nightmare. Oh my God, you can track me, as if their iPhone doesn't have tracking on it already. But they use the app. So if I was to go into Starbucks and test positive, now they know everywhere I've been. So they can now inform everybody that if you went to Starbucks on Market Street at this time between this side, if you went to Food City at this time between this time, you need to go get tested because you were now exposed. They didn't need for you to call everybody. They had a digital electronic way. They used the same thing that we use every day, which is technology, to able to control and inform people what was going on. So more people were able to get tested, more people were able to respond faster. They quarantined properly, and that's it. That place is overpopulated, and they were able to do that. But here we're like, we need a vaccine, which confuses me. But I don't make them rules, but I just feel like, again, if we wasn't so separated by all these different man, woman, black, white, rich, poor, Democrat, if we wasn't separated so much by all these compartments, then we would be able to come together and say, all right, this is what we're going to do. And everybody do it. But that's unrealistic in America. So
they don't, I mean, based on the propaganda, they ain't gonna never allow that to happen. And then they'll pay people like these celebrities who have influence to push their agenda.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's happened with a lot of things. I mean, like I said, America wasn't founded on some dude in a boat and was like, look, and then he rolled up and it was like, I'm gonna call this America. That wasn't founded that way. It was, we're gonna go over here and take this. And so if you build something on chaos, when can you ever control it? If you build it off chaos and you control it off chaos, when can you ever really control it? So you just created this thing that's uncontrollable. It'll never. Look at what's going on now with them storming the Capitol. Like this was created in chaos. So chaos is going to happen every year. It's going to be something. We're going to have a big event every 10 years. It's going to have this, every 5, 10. History has already showed us that, it's going to repeat itself. So you can't build a country in chaos and act like everything will be normal. That's unrealistic.
Okay, so let me ask you this. How do you see, like every 10 to 20 years, do you see the programming that they keep hitting us with?
Yeah. I mean, America, that's what that same thing I just said, that programming is. So let's look at spiders and butterflies.
Okay.
So if you see if a butterfly land on you, what do you do if a butterfly land on you?
Most people look at it or hold it up and stuff like that.
Hold it up. It's kind of like, man, like I'm lucky. Like a butterfly land on me. Nowadays we got phones. You taking a picture. If you get a sunset and a butterfly in your hand and a picture on Instagram, you probably gonna make the little explore page if you edit it right. All right. So what you gonna do if a spider land on you?
Gonna knock it off for you.
Yeah, because you were always taught what about spiders?
You don't want them on you. They poisonous.
Yeah.
They could bite you. All that.
That's programming. Lack of your ability to not know something makes somebody else able to control you. So if you don't know how to change your oil and you come to me for an oil change, I'm gonna tell you everything wrong with your car because now I can control your way of thinking because you don't have knowledge on a certain subject. So spiders and butterflies is programming. So look at how we've programmed people to think about black people, spiders. We've programmed people to think about white people, butterflies. And that's something that people don't understand. Even if they don't feel like they're programmed, they are naturally programmed to do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Even black people, we don't think we're programmed. But you see a skinny dude, skinny white guy walking up the street. You know what I'm saying? Three skinny white dudes walking up the street. You're not threatened by them, right? Because you're taught like, man, it's 3 white dudes. What are they gonna do to me? 3 black dudes, you're like, might get robbed. You're even programmed as a black man to think like that. Because we've been programmed like that for years. So without you even being able to catch it, your brain has already responded to what it was told to do. Fear this. This is non-lethal. This is lethal.
But
So,
I'm gonna tell you something I noticed growing up in the inner city, and I'm pretty sure you can attest to it. I work with white guys and I deal with white guys all the time, and I told them I could come in your neighborhood and probably lose my life. But you could come over here, and bad as you think it is, they ain't finna touch you.
You don't start nothing, you probably gonna be good as a white guy in the neighborhood. You probably because we probably think you the cops first. So you probably gonna be good anyway. We probably already questioning like who this white boy walking through the projects. You know what I'm saying? Because we're programmed like that. We're programmed to believe like, hey man, this dude don't believe he's out of place. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's a realistic statement. You know what I'm saying? I think the problem is we're programmed to find out what's different about us. If I'm trying to find out how me and you are different right now, it's going to separate us. But if we find out what we have in common, we're going to get closer. That's common sense, right? So when we see people, oh, you're black, I'm white, instead of us focusing on what we have in common, that's the first thing we identify with. And then we start listing all the things we're separate about. And then it puts a wedge in between us versus saying, okay, you black and I'm white. What do we have in common? You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you listen to gospel, I listen to gospel. Then you start to realize like, okay, it's not that much degrees of separation between us. But the problem comes in effect when America, when that person doesn't identify with their privilege, then then that separation, you can't deny that separation. Because you can have a white best friend. If he ain't aware of his privilege, you can be in a bad situation real quick. You know what I'm saying? You can't tell a cop I'm gonna whoop your ass where we grew up. Like, so you don't do that, bro. You ain't got it. That ain't how we gonna do that. So we program not to talk like that. But his privilege may let him get away with it. They can jump the Capitol wall. That's privilege. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way it is. So yeah, they can. But having those conversations, the fact that you can have that conversation at work, man, that's good. Like in the military, we talk like that all the time. I know I do. I try to talk to people and find out like how you different from me. That's cool, but what we got in common? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do that I like? I just told one of my coworkers I want to go hunting. I want to go hunting, like sit like duck suit, camo, and like sit in the woods and just, you know what I'm saying, with the little duck thing and just hunt. Like I want to do that. That's something I ain't never did. So that's gonna bring me closer to somebody who probably never think I would want to do that with them because I got on, T jeans and Jordans. They looking like, man, you're not about to go sit in the woods. Yeah, I go sit in the woods with you, man, just to be able to talk, have a conversation, have a beer, and probably close the gap and create a relationship that's gonna later on probably change how they think about black people. Because that's the only way to change this stuff. We want to protest it away. You can't protest it away. You got to ally that thing at some point, and we got to stand up for ourselves and stop asking the same people who told us we wasn't nothing to all of a sudden care. Like that's impossible.
So how do you feel, being that you brought up protest, how you feel about protest? Like far as what's your thoughts, like as much as you want to give on protest?
When the first time I saw him like tearing up stuff, what was the first thing that caused us to burn everything up? Was it Mike Brown?
You talking about here recently or back in the day?
No, this is back. It was Mike Brown first, right? Ferguson, that's when they were like tearing everything up in Ferguson. I
guess that's more recent, but like
that's more recent. But besides like the riots in LA and everything, but like I was like, man, why they tearing, like that's their own neighborhood? I didn't get it. This time, after watching what they did to George Floyd, I said, burn everything up. Burn it all up. It ain't ours anyway. Burn it up. It's all insured. It ain't ours. Burn it up. Like whatever we got to do to get your attention, then that's what we got to do. Because when we kneel, you don't listen. You know what I'm saying? Like these peaceful processes on there just wait us out, or they'll try to flip our agenda to be something else. So I say burn everything down. Take a whole city, burn it down. They got to rebuild it. In that rebuilding process, they should reprogram how they think. That's my protesting is necessary. It's not gonna fix nothing though. Because once you raise everybody awareness and get everybody attention, all the news cameras on you, who do we have that's talking for us? Where's our Martin Luther King? Where's our Malcolm X? Where's the one person that we can? It got to be one. It can't be 15. It got to be one person. We don't have that. Our generation don't have that. So our civil rights movement is going to be way different because it can easily be sidetracked with, like the dude broke into AutoZone and immediately they said, oh, they're looting. And then that changed the whole, theme of what we were doing. You put people in masks and have them write Black Lives Matter on the wall just to take their mask off and find out it's a group of white kids. You're like, what? That's easily to tear the agenda down of what's going on. So we can't march. We can't tear nothing up. We can't take a knee. So I say destroy everything. That's my opinion. Tear it all down. That got the biggest response.
I mean, of course, when you tear down people's property.
Hey, tear it down, man. What else can we do? You start to push somebody's hand. Even the scary dude in the hood to shoot the gun if you put him in the corner.
All right, think about this. What about we stop spending? Like stop spending with them, period.
But the thing about it is, so I agree that's a way, right? Control our money, put our money back into the pockets of people. Because if you look at Hispanic people, they do it all the time, right? If you look at Asian people, they come here, they get their businesses, and then they invest in another business of theirs. And they do it. We're one of the only cultures of people that don't support ourselves enough to be self-sufficient. If you go to a lot of cities, they have a Chinatown. And you know what I'm saying? We don't, that's a way, but it's not going to be one way. We want to believe that it's going to be one way, but it's not going to be one way. It's going to take a multitude of ways for us to take control back from the government and say, hey, look, either you're going to help us or you're against us. And then when we start, we need enough power to say that though. So that means we got to clean up our neighborhoods. We got to change our family dynamic. Dudes got to stop having kids and leaving the woman by herself to be the man. You know what I'm saying? The women have to stop opening their legs to everybody and getting pregnant. You can't have 4 or 5 kids by 4 or 5 dudes. Like that whole dynamic has to stop. In order for us to be able to take control back of our culture and how it's supposed to be, we got to set those standards got to go back in place. In order for us we got to fix us without them, because as long as we're asking them, we just talking to a wall.
So would you say, because when I hear that, would you say voting is asking them?
Yeah, you have to play that game. You're gonna have to play that game at some point, because if you don't, you're gonna give them control of everything. So imagine a army with no color people in it, no brown, Asian, Indian, just all white people. With this corrupted government, they have a whole army of people to do whatever they want to do with, and there's no representation of any other cultures in this mixing pot that we call America. You don't ever want to give them total control over everything, because there's still some real, cricket white people out there. All of them not, but some of the ones that's in power came from like years ago. Like they still in that lineage of racist people. You know what I'm saying? Some of the people in charge right now are the people that was at the cafes spraying mustard on the kids that was trying to do sit-ins. Those are some of the people that are in charge right now. So, but we're gonna have to play the game. We're gonna have to vote. We're gonna have to do sensing. What we got to do is groom our young black men and women to be political, to play that game, to have that representation on the political side as well, and put those people in place to speak for us. If we don't do that, then we're not gonna win.
This is my thing though. We've been playing that game the whole time though.
Nah, not really. We're trying to get in. We're still trying to get in. But the thing is, we're voting, but it's about the representation of. I think lately, the last 4 or 5 years, it's been more people that are authentically for the movement of colored people, black people in politics. Some of the people have been in place now or the authentic people to say, all right, I'm the person that needs to be here because I'm going to not only speak for black people, I'm going to speak for everybody else because it's equal across the board, but I'm going to ensure that you don't run over my culture of people as well. I think we're getting good at that, but it's going to take a long time to get enough people in there to open up enough doors to say, all right, it's got to be fair across the board. It's going to take longer than now. We've been playing that game for a long time, but we've just starting to get our players in the game. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're starting now to get our players in the game. I think people are starting to realize how important it is to vote. I think people are, but now it's like, okay, who do we have to vote for? Now we got to fix that part.
It's like, I hear that, but it's like the whole process is like, think about this, because you're a smart dude. If I give you a game I created, how will you ever compete with me with the game I created?
Because you got to play by the same rules too. It's only so if I outsmart you at your game, that's what we have to do, outsmart them at their game. And that what they've been able to do is, oh, this person is getting better at this, let me find a way to stop this. But what you can't deny about our culture of people is we were born with superpowers. You're not going to just shut us down. All right. So if you tell me I need to be so smart, we're going to be smarter than that. So we just have to keep playing that game until we corner them to say, okay, you got us. You know what I'm saying? Like, look at now, this them storming the Capitol. That's us getting a one up. Now we need to get online, get our cameras, and go down there and record them. Look, where the tasers at, where the gas at, where the riot shields at. Show them, like, look, y'all didn't do the same thing to the Black Lives Matter movement. Y'all maced them. All they did was set in the street. These people literally stormed the Capitol. This is like terrorism at its finest. This is what people do in other countries that don't have an organized government. We have the best government in the world, and they're storming the thing, and they said police need to stand down. This is our time to throw it back in their face, right? And say, hey, look, now what y'all gonna do about this? Force them to change something, and then that's a little bit, we made a little bit of. We're not gonna be able to fix 400-year head start. It take a long time to catch up from a 400-year head start. You know what I'm saying? Especially when they control the rules, like you said. So we can't expect it to just be we're gonna catch up in 200 years. It ain't gonna happen like that.
Yeah, it's all control opposition.
Yeah, we just gotta outsmart it's chess. You know what I'm saying? You got to be four moves ahead, not tell people what you're doing, just make the moves happen. I think the biggest way to do that though is change community first. Because imagine if we made our communities, our neighborhoods. Imagine something happened in the project. Somebody called the police. Before the police come in there, y'all not just rolling up in here. What y'all need? We'll go get whoever you need, but y'all not gonna come in here because we can't trust y'all to be in our community. If y'all want to come in our community, you have to earn our trust. But that takes a lot of us taking accountability from what we do in the neighborhoods, because we allowed that self-destruction to work. They put drugs in our neighborhood, and we still glorifying selling drugs. Every rap artist, I got their work. That's what they got. We still glorifying the one thing that helped tear us down as a community. We have to reprogram.
I ain't gonna say every rap artist. The ones that they push, yeah.
Okay, so now let's talk about that, right? So the one thing that we created in this world, right? It's a lot of inventions that were made by Black people. That were great inventions, Super Soaker, whole bunch of stuff, right? We created rap music. And now we don't control it, and they're using that as psychological warfare against us. You know how crazy that is? That's crazy. So now I can't hear Kendrick Lamar on a regular day basis if I don't play his song myself. I can't hear Talib Kweli, Black Thought. I can't hear J. Cole. I can't hear 21 Savage. Was horrible at first. I don't know who he started talking to. The dude started making sense. You can't hear him on the radio no more.
No, anytime you make sense, and really for the advancement of us, for real. Nah.
Yeah. So it's like, so what are we doing? But you know what we allow them to do? The music that doesn't benefit us at all is the thing that we sit and listen to all the time. Again, we've been beat at our own game. When we had the one thing that they wanted, they took it, and now they control it. So we're allowing that stuff because we're not denying anything. We have to deny something. At some point, we have to say, okay, cool. You know what? Like you said, we're not shopping here. And if you keep playing this song, we're not listening to this radio station. if we don't hear so and so and so and so, because it's cool to hear that, you want to hear those songs every now and then. They necessary. I'm not listening to Comment on my way to the club. I'm not listening to, you know what I'm saying? I want to hear, NBA Youngboy and all that, because at the same time, it's music, it's a part of hip hop, but it's not the basis of hip hop altogether. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't the four elements of hip hop, wasn't drugs, gold chain. It wasn't, you know what I'm saying? It was beatbox, breakdancing, graffiti, you know what I'm saying? It was in the MC. So we've let it become our black women being called bitches and hoes and WAP. And you look at the black woman in hip hop, she's misrepresented more than anything, even more than the man. So we repeat it, our kids regurgitate it, and now we 10, 12 generations later on, not understanding that in a minute, it ain't gonna be no history that we even created it. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're gonna put that whole twist on it. But we have to protect the stuff that we create. We have to control what we consume, all that stuff. Not just boycott certain brands and stuff like that. Like you said, put our money in the right place, but put our attention in the right place too. We don't do that, we're gonna keep taking L's.
So mentioning brands, I seen you had a brand that you was launching at one point, right?
Yeah, Brain Matter Clothing. It's still in the works, man. It's still in the works. I had a big So I was supposed to have a big launch this year, but Corona messed up all of my samples being pushed out to me in Korea. A lot of companies were like, we're gonna work on, since production is low due to them not being able to have everybody at work, people getting sick, it was hard for them to push out samples. So I'm waiting on samples for socks, beanies, hoodies, all this winter stuff in the summer. And it's like, we can't get it to you. I had to wait longer because I was in Korea. But now they was like, all right, check it out. If you're not already buying from us, we're not sending any samples out because we don't have time to make samples from scratch. So that slowed me down. So I'll take another approach to it. So I plan here summer. Hopefully I can put some stuff out there, and then this time just keep it coming.
Cause I was like, man, he got some. I was looking, I was like, where's that? I'm like,
when I dropped a couple tees and stuff, and they took off. They sold quick. I always sold out, but then it'll be this big break, and then everybody will, what's up? What's the next drop? And I get occupied with military stuff and everything else, and then I got to wait on the next drop when I had that time to, because it take a lot. A lot of people think it's just you come up with a design, you buy a t-shirt and print it on there. For some people, it's like that. But for what I'm trying to do with it, I want it to be some quality that people say, all right, I'm gonna buy from him again, not just off the strength that it's sleep, but I want people to be like, oh yeah, if I go spend this much with Bape, or if I go spend this much with Ralph Lauren, his clothes has the same quality. I don't want you to just buy because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Don't just support me because I'm black or I'm the homie. I want you to say, what his clothing line has something that I want to put my money behind. I'd rather spend it with him than go spend it with so and so and so and so. So that's just how I am with anything. With music, I've always been like that with anything.
Why do you think like, okay, you had your Ralph Laurens, and when we come up with something just as good or better, why do you think we tax our people more?
I don't know. I haven't really seen where we tax our people more. I just feel like those brands have solidified themselves as a standard, or they've been around so long. Because you're talking Ralph Lauren, you're talking Gucci, Louis. All this is lineage of its history behind its clothing line. It always solidified anybody who wore it, not just African American people, but even white people, Italian, whoever. When they wore it, it was like, man, you got on Louis. You have a status. You know what I'm saying? Like, that clothing brand didn't just give you a good look. It gave you a status, like having an iPhone. You know what I'm saying? It gave you a status. So here you are, and here comes FUBU. It's like, I rock with FUBU, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to still go get Polo. I'm going to still go get Nautica, because these brands have already told people, if I got this on, then I'm in the, the floor was hot. And a lot of times black brands die off because it's yet to prove that you can't say, oh man, I got a certain status while I'm wearing this. So it's harder for those brands to take off.
But you know what's crazy? The brands take off just like this country took off on our backs. But we can't push our own brand.
It's because of what we glorify and tell our So we teach our kids things. I want to be 100% honest with you. I taught my son to buy Jordans indirectly. I just bought him Jordans all the time. He was used to wearing Jordans, right? He was used to having a lot of shoes at a young age. And what I programmed him to do is buy shoes, buy shoes, buy shoes, buy Jordans, buy Jordans. Instead of me just getting him the Spider-Mans, he didn't care. At a certain age, he didn't care. It was just Spider-Mans. You know what I'm saying? Then he got to an age where it's like, Jordans, I got on what my daddy got on. I got on what everybody want. And then now we've programmed our kids to think that labeling is more important. You know what I'm saying? That label. So now you look at the kids now that's 18, 19, they got on a little bubble jacket, a designer belt, they t-shirt hang right over their belt so you can see what kind of belt they got on, distressed jeans and Jordans, because that's the image that we've said, like, this is the image. This is how you're supposed to look. Instead of telling them like, hey, this, you can have your own identity from JCPenney too. You don't have to have on, we kind of program our kids that way. If you look at Christmas that just passed, what did people get their kids? They didn't care what happened. They got them those PlayStation 5s. They got them, we get them these things and then they become materialistic. You know what I'm saying? And we just put that on them. And the fault of us is some of us grew up without it. So we said, when I get a kid, I'm going to get my kid this because this is what I wanted. And only thing we're trying to do is be good parents. But what we're really doing is
being bad parents.
Being bad parents. You know what I'm saying? So it's something that you really got to take time and teach yourself, like, man, I know I want my kid to have this, but is it necessary for my kid to have? Do they got the PlayStation 4 Pro? Do they have to have the 5? And that kid probably don't know anything about a PlayStation 5. They don't understand the graphic card, the 4K quality, 8K possibility, the resolution refresh. They don't know anything about that stuff. They just know it's the new thing. And their parent, like, I want my kid to have the new thing because I wanted the new thing, or I didn't. Or they did get it, so they feel like I'm supposed to get it for my kid too. But we make our kids materialistic by dressing them the way they do when they 4, 5, 6, 7. So when they get 10, 11, 12, and they're in that classroom with everybody who got on Jordans and polo and whatever they wearing, and they feel like I gotta be like this to be socially in tune with what's going on around me. If I don't, then I'm lame. We do that to our kids. We do that to our culture, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just saying, hey, check it out. Let me teach you about materialistic things and why it's not important. I did it. I mean, look at me now. I stopped buying shoes, but you
look like you look like you got enough shoes where you ain't gotta buy no more.
Yeah, I don't really buy sneakers too much no more, but I already had created a beat. So trying to get him now to understand, like, it's other stuff we could put our money in. I programmed him way too young to now to try to deprogram him. You know what I'm saying? Like,
cause
if understand, like,
cause you say, hey man, you might need to chill on them shoes. Then he look back at, he be like, hold up,
at me,
man.
and he like, really? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so it's something that we do. And we want the best for our kids, and sometimes we don't understand that the best might be you need to skip a Jordan, or you don't need the PlayStation 5. You know what I'm saying? How about I just get you more games for the PlayStation 4, and you learn how to humble yourself. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll get the 5 at a later date. We don't really do that all the time. It comes from growing up how we grow up. We got to celebrate our achievements. You got to buy that chain. You got to buy that watch. You got to get that car.
I guess it's all in how you think, though.
Yeah, it is. It is. And if you're not having them talks with your kids about what materialistic things are and what's economically sound, and but America don't want you to know that either. That's why it's no finance class in high school. They don't want you to know how to use your money. Why would I teach you how to use your money? Are you crazy? I need you to give it to me.
Exactly.
I need all that. Yeah, we're not gonna teach you how to. When you go to college, I need you to take out 100,000 student loans. I need you to keep buying Jordans. We need all that money up out of you.
I'm glad you brought up college. I did a show. Me personally, I think college is a game. A waste of time. It's me. The reason I say that, I ask people who got masters, bachelors, associates, high and as low as you could go. I say, what did you really learn from college? And the majority of the people tell me, I learned how to work for somebody else.
I can see that. I mean, college is a game. I mean, you take some courses you just don't need for your major. That's it's a money game in it too. It's the United States. What's not a money game? People own people. It's everything's a money game. You can own a person the same way you own the horse. So it's been a money game since the beginning. But I will say about college, it's just another way of playing the game in the United States. Sometimes you have to play the game, and if you don't, you just put yourself more at a disadvantage. So if you don't have a plan, so if you're not going to go to college, you have to have some other plan to stay in the fight. If you don't, you're a part of that crowd that's slowing up the rest of everybody else. So you go to college, you're gonna either have to play the game, find the loopholes, but college also, on the parenting side, how I look at it is, it do teach your kids how to kind of be out there on their own and find their way. You know what I'm saying? So it is kind of necessary for certain people. It's not for everybody though. I agree that it's not for everybody, but you can't try 5 things and be like, oh, it's not for me. Something you're gonna have to suck up. Or if not, you're gonna be 30 and you keep saying, man, this ain't for me. And it's like, bro, ain't nothing for you now. At this age, you halfway done. You know what I'm saying? So it got to be something. So if you're not going to college, figure out something to do. And that's my biggest thing. I tell my son that all the time. If you're not going to college, you got to figure it out. You can't just sit around here and work and then just be like, that's all you're going to do. You know what I'm saying? That ain't going to fly in America. We're black men. We're born into this handicapped position already. Color of your skin, the fact that you're a man, like America already against you. So you not being educated is going. If you're not going to find education and seek education or educate yourself, then you're just putting yourself more at a disadvantage. So even if you got to go read what's in those books, read the books that people not checking out too, because that's most of the time that's where the truth at. But you got to educate yourself as a black man. If not, it's a wrap for you. You're not gonna survive.
Because I look at it like this. I look at it, I was like, why do people go to school? Because most Fortune 500 companies are owned by dropouts. So you go to school all this time to go work for somebody who dropped out and just twerked their idea. Or a lot of them, based on what you just said, piggybacking on that, a lot of them got a silver spoon in their mouth. So that's why they ideas was able to pop, or they call their dad or their mom, hey, I know you got this right here. All right, I'll make it happen for you.
Yeah, lineage gonna always mean something, man. When you come from a long line of rich people, you can make some mistakes that we can't make. So, but we have to create that lineage for ourselves. And if that means 5 or 6 generations of people have to go to college to have a lineage of educated people in that family, somebody got to do it. Everybody can't be like, I'm not going to college. I'm gonna just start a phone company out of my garage and call it Apple in 10 years, and it's gonna be the biggest selling. Everybody can't do that. Somebody has to go in there, and somebody's gonna have to in that family has to go. It's like trying to get over a wall, right? Somebody got to go put they knee and their hand down so the next person can get higher, and then somebody else get up there and let somebody stand on their shoulders. That's what that is when the first kid graduates and then the next kid graduates. Now you have a family history of people going and getting degrees. That's part of your family's wealth, believe it or not. At the end of the day, when that family name comes, now you're starting to create history and lineage in that family. Now, if y'all find a way to start making money, now you're creating that wealth that everybody's starting to talk about, right? That family wealth where you can start making those business investments and stuff. But we're not taught business. So if everybody in your family trying to just be an entrepreneur and come up real quick, who has the business mindset in the family? Somebody got to go to college and learn and say, hey, the political game is this. This is what I learned in school. In order for us to beat that, we have to do this. So you got to learn the rules. You got to play their game until you can beat them. That's that. If we got to stop thinking we can retract ourselves from what's going on and then go over here and build our own Black Wall Street. No, we're gonna have to play their game and beat them at it in order for us to get where we got to go. But college it's some classes that's a waste of time. Trust me, it is a waste. I tried it and I was like, nah, I want to join the army. So it's hard, you know what I'm saying? But it's something that got to be done. The hard stuff got to be done in order for us to get where we got to go as a culture.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you could gain more information if you, cause At the end of the day, it's information. The information is out there for all of us. So do you think you could gain more information if you really seek it on your own as opposed to college? Because the reason I say that is if you, one of our problems is, say the man, we got to understand that we are not just building families, but we building nations. So you got to understand, okay, you good studying your children, you good at this. So it will be in your best interest for the nation to be this. Now, if you're gonna go to college for that, like, okay, if you're a lawyer, and it's all in learning the system, like you were saying, strategically, I'm cool with that. But just going, okay, let me go so I can go get this bag, and the cycle repeat itself.
No, it has to be intentional. And if you're going and you're there 2 years and you still taking general studies, like, you get a new plan. You know what I'm saying? Like you wasting time because, like you say, it could be something else you could be probably good at. But in order to have that lawyer in the family, because everybody should have a family lawyer, in order to have a somebody who's just a business major, because somebody need to learn the ins and outs. Because when little Kiki come up with the best hair braiding scenario and now she wants to make this a business, who's going to steer her into that way? Who, if you already got those people in the family that's already business minded, those people can be like, here, this is what you need to do. If you get a kid who's fascinated with vehicles and you got an uncle or two who got some kind of certification in auto mechanics or the business behind that, then boom, that's how his business can start without him going to high school. I mean, without him going to college. You know what I'm saying? It's ways that everybody don't have to go to college, but somebody in that family has to build that foundation, that knowledge is in that family. And if it's not, then now you're trying to, yes, you can get way more knowledge if you seek it on your own. It's because, like you said, it's there. Is that our fingertips now? I agree with that, because college is not really to just make you this super smart person. It's really for you to get information about whatever degree or whatever business field you're about to go in. We assume that people go to college, they're smart. That's like seeing a bunch of books in somebody's house. You assume that they read. That's not 100% the truth. The intent of college is for you to go and get smart on what you want to take that degree and do with it. Not just come out and be this person I can just ask all these questions to. You know what I'm saying? No, if I only went for general studies, I can tell you general information about certain things. If I went to be a doctor, I can tell you about whatever medical field that I study. If I went to be a child psychologist, I can't tell you the psychological mind of everybody, but I can teach you about the psychological mindset of kids. So it's a specific thing that you go in there and learn, not you go and learn about everything. So, but somebody got to play the game. Everybody can't try to beat the system just randomly.
I guess I'm kind of still on the fence. Like me personally, I'm like, I understand you gotta know the game. I do know that, but me, I don't want to. Right now, I'm forced to play it, but I don't. If I had my way,
but we all kind of are. But look, this what I say. So Trump signed a bill, right, that said that you can no longer hire somebody over me because they have a degree. Believe it or not, that is a huge benefit to Black people.
He signed that.
He signed that.
So
Trump signed a bill. I have to go. I'll look it up and email it to you. He signed a bill that it kind of leveraged the playing field when it came to. I could have been Willie Lump. I didn't go to college because I wasn't smart, but I went into the auto mechanic field and I've been doing it for 12 years. Now there's a certain position opening at this job. You can't tell me because Junior just got out of high school and he has a 4-year degree in this that you can hire him over me. My experience now matters just as much as his degree does. That's going to benefit African-American people a lot because a lot of us don't. We have to work immediately because our moms were sick, our moms was poor. So we immediately started working. It wasn't no college. It wasn't no, I'm going to just take 8 years and go be a freaking lawyer or blah, blah, blah. Like, no, we had to go straight into work. And so some people got jobs that they've been at this job for 10, 12 years and they can't only go so far because they don't have a degree. Me, the guy in charge, can say, oh, well, you don't have a degree filling this. And that's the criteria in order for me to give you this promotion. Now they can say, well, look, this is what I'll do. I'll legally find a way to beat you now because you can't deny me now because my lack of having a degree. You can't hire so and so over me anymore.
So is that hiring? Is that hot? Like, is that hot? So let me ask you this: can somebody with experience without a degree apply for the same job that somebody got a degree, and they have to look at them both equally? Is that?
Yeah, they got to look at them equally.
Okay.
You know what
Salute
I'm
to
saying?
Donald Trump for that.
Yeah, it's you know, I'm not.
That's probably why
I'm in the
he.
military.
That's probably why he ain't get back in.
Yeah, I mean, so with politics, you talk to hate Donald Trump. I cannot voice my opinion on Donald Trump as long as he's the United States president.
I got you.
But what I will say is, when it comes to politics, don't let them have you think that every Republican or Democrat. Don't let them program you to believe that Democrats are for black people and Republicans against black people. Do research to find out some of the things that both sides are arguing, because some stuff that the Democrats arguing can hurt you, some stuff that the Republicans are arguing can help you. You know what I'm saying? But remember, they want you separated because now we can't share this conversation to spread knowledge. So now I can continue to control you because you're ignorant to a situation. For example, I didn't know how to I didn't know how to put drywall on a wall to if you put a hole in the wall and you patch a hole. I didn't know how to do that. Called this guy, he charged me like $250. I come to find out I could have spent $25 on stuff in Home Depot and I could have patched the holes up. Know how to do it now. I'm good at it now, but I had to pay for what I didn't know. My ignorance to that subject allows somebody to control something. And then me being impatient, just here, man, do it, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what they get us on, impatient.
Yeah, that's what they get us on, information. If we don't know something, say, if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in the book. You know what I'm saying? One of the most disrespectful things to say. You know what I'm saying? But you got to remember, we were never told to read. We got in trouble for reading.
That's why I'm always read.
Yeah, we got killed for reading. So that's how we got to look at it. You know, we got to humble ourselves. And if you fix family, then that dynamic you talking about, you can start working on that. When we fix family, if we fix it to where you say, all right, look, I'm going to go be the family lawyer. So I'm going to do the school thing. And this person now is the person that helps the family with all these legalities. Back in the days, you had to be a butcher. You had to be you had to know how to carve wood. Everybody had a special skill. You know, you had to know how to, sew leather, all this stuff. Hunt. You had to know how to hunt to bring in. Now that's kind of different, but the logic's still the same. Somebody in the family needs to be a this so that we can do this later on, because you got to start thinking about the greater good of the family. Everybody else do it. Our culture, for some reason, well, not for some reason, slavery is the reason, but due to slavery, we're not able to grasp our mind around family, because that's where they started to break our families down during the slavery period. So that's why we're struggling with that right now. Man. And all they did was take it and put slavery into child support and everything else, and now they continue to do the same thing. In order for a female to get any kind of government assistance, who has to be out of the picture?
Us, the man.
The man got to be out of the picture. If I take the man out, take the man out of the household, I now control the woman's thought process, because there's no man there to protect and steer her toward the right thing. So now I can, in order for you to keep getting these benefits, he got to go. If he leave, now we get to put him on child support. If he don't pay child support, we get to, I think in Tennessee, they can suspend your license. They can do all kind of stuff. So now you got to charge, this is a perfect way. This is slavery all over again. So this is what we fighting, man. And we're losing because we don't want to educate ourselves.
Man. Hey, man, boy, you done dropped a whole lot of gems tonight. Hey, I'm going to have to get you. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to start doing reoccurring guests, kind of like what Vlad do. But you will definitely have to be a reoccurring guest if you can.
Yeah, man. Anytime, man. Anytime.
Cause hey, this was powerful. And when it come out, people gonna be like, man, that dude, he really drops some gems. And I knew you would, cause I know you. So I said, man, let me holler at you, cause I said, man, this gonna be a dope interview.
Got you, man. Every time. Whenever hit me, man, I'm always down to do it. I think it's dope. Man, I mean, you even got my brain going man, this way to open up conversation. It's good. I think it's a good thing, man.
Yeah, my thing is I did the Deprogram show, and I'm gonna keep doing it to get people to think. Even
Yeah.
if, and I interview people, you might not even think like I think, but it's
Yeah.
good to have a fresh perspective, and I
Yeah.
can learn from anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Each one teach one, man. That's the way. If we open these conversations up and let these overshadow some of the stuff that they want us talking about and doing, I think we can change a lot of stuff. But it's one person at a time. Sometimes you can only reach one at a time, but if you can reach that one, you made some progress. Just keep doing your thing, man.
Got to, man. I appreciate you for coming. Before we leave, you got anything you want to share with the people?
Not right now, man. Not right now. I know. Shout out to J Flow. Me and him had something cooking, and I fell off with this whole thing with Corona. But I'm gonna holler back at him. Just be looking out for me to start doing some events in the city, man. Some good stuff. Kind of like what you're saying with getting people together, but I want to get a bunch of people in the room that can get some information spread around the city so we can start changing some stuff, man. So just be looking out for that.
Okay, salute. Well, I appreciate y'all for watching when it's due drop, because it was pre-recorded. And this is the Deprogram Show. My boy Christopher Knox, aka Just Sleep, and we out.